Okay, the Famitsu article for Ignis is out. He definitely looked very good in his teaser videos. Like, people are saying that he is going to be OP, like he's going to be like 100 on the Ultima, as his tier must get, pull and be good for life, basically. I'm exaggerating a bit, but yeah, you get the idea. So I want to just take a look at the Famitsu article, which has all the details, like at least a lot of the details regarding his percentages and whatnot, and just give my impressions on him. Like, spoiler warning, I think he's good, but I think he has some tricky parts to use and definitely some flaws. Okay, so here we go. So this is skill 1. Skill 1 is Gathering or Regroup. It's 4 uses. It's basically a party heal. Doesn't really matter how much he heals, like it's probably just gonna be a full heal, and the party battery. It gives him 15 turns of first aid, which first aid is a party 40% max brave and 20% attack buff, which is pretty good, and it's a free turn. But the thing is, it only has 4 skill uses, so it's not a lot. And skill 2. Skill 2 is a fun one. It's his cooking skill. So initially, the cooking skill gives him a bit of battery for himself. Well, battery for the party. Gives himself a buff. The buffs gives him 20% initial brave and 20% attack. It's for himself. And then after using the skill, he gets access to one of 2 buffs that he can choose from. So the first buff is this Okashi. It's the pastry. It's basically after using skill 2, you get 2 choices of buffs. It's either the Okashi here, which is basically a brave regen stance, a battery stance, which also gives party full debuff evasion and HP regen, and during which the stance he gets just batteries and brave refund HP attack with battery. His second stance is the Oyakodon, which is a more offensive stance. It gives party 40% attack and 20% overflow, which is really nice, and he gets some brave attacks here. So basically, both of his skills are buffs, and then he can only do damage by his brave and HP plus variants that's tied to his 2 stances. So and his second skill is also 0 action delay. Right, now his EX. Right, his EX is Overwhelm. It's basically, after everything's said and done, it's a double turn swap for the party. So his party members will follow behind him after the skill. It's a party battery, and then it's a Charlotta-like skill where he damages the enemy 3 times based on the party's current brave, which is pretty neat. But also his EX Plus allows him to start with buffs and gives him bravery and HP plus attack variants, which just makes them better. So in terms of utility, like Ignis has Brave Battery, he has a pretty good party aura in his second stance, the Oyakodon stance, which is 40% attack and 20% overflow. Or he can choose to give them the of evasion instead, which is more situational. I think most of the time you want to be in the attack stance, basically. Yeah, and he also gives constant party 40% max brave and 20% attack, while skill 1 buff is active, which it has 15 turns per use. Yeah, it has 15 turns per use, so that's pretty nice. But here's the thing, his skill 1 is 4 uses, his skill 2 is 8 uses total. And here's the thing with his EX, it's a little bit of a slower recast. Yeah, the recast is slightly slow. This detail isn't really made known to the public yet, but if you check here, I have the video pulled up here. Just watch the EX recast here. That's the start. He probably used the bravery tag here and there. And then after using a skill one time, it's the skill itself feels less than a quarter. So that's the thing with skills with zero action delay. They don't fill the EX gauge a lot. So like starting from scratch is going to take him slightly more than 4 skill uses to get his EX going. And he only has 12 skill uses in total. Of course that you can charge his EX with bravery attacks variants, but they are not going to be doing a lot, so in terms of EX recast is not going to do much. So yeah, so that's one thing that I see that's going to be a thing that he needs to be careful of. He doesn't have a lot of EX uses. Also, while his the second stance, the stance 2 buff is really good, you need to, well, basically it's a trade-off between either giving the party debuff evasion or the offensive aura. I mean, while you can switch on the dime, it's still a trade-off, and you only get limited times of switching. And the thing is, like, especially with skill 1 only having 4 skill uses, in HP damage heavy fights you might want to stay in the regen stance, which completely gives up his shaving ability. So yeah, also his only bravery damage comes from his second stance HP and bravery attacks, which means of course he's not going to be a dedicated brave shaver. So like let's say the closest comparison would be Charlotta. Even Charlotta has an 80 or 90% gravity attack on her EX, which can be filled up pretty easily by just spamming her skill 1. Ignis is completely reliant on others or his own bravery, just base attacks to shave. And on top of that, the EX recast is way slower. Like, so in total he gets, at max he gets 40% max brave and 60% each attack, plus 20% party overflow. That's his number of party buffs, which is pretty good. It's pretty good, yeah. But what I'm saying is that he probably has limitations. Like, you probably shouldn't expect him to be way too good, because a lot of his utility, like the thing that wows people was his EX, you know? Like it's a double turn convert into overflow battery into triple HP attack. But you're not gonna be able to get that very often. So yeah. What other things are relevant here? Let's see. Not really, like he doesn't get any party aura from his passives. Yeah, so he's basically a battery character with support. So it's basically battery slash aura with support utility that are on a trade-off based on his stances. Well, he certainly is going to be good. Like, I see him being useful in a lot of the chaos fights, especially for the sense of dimensions, especially like debuff evasion can be really useful, and the fact that you can just like switch to it when you need to, and then switch back to your aura stance when you don't have to deal with debuffs. That's nice. Like, you don't have to take, say, Lano for it. Because Lano right now is not really that good. Yuna, it's more like a debuff dispel. instead of evasion, so different things. But yeah, with 8 and 4 skill uses, and the fact that they don't charge EX that much, just iffy. Like, he's a well-designed character, but don't be too hyped, that's I guess what I'm saying. And for those curious, I'm not pulling for him at all, because I already have Zach. Well, of course, like, Zach and him are doing different things, but like, I'm not risking on pulling a dupe banner. And Zach is looking pretty good too, so maybe let's just look at Zach. Let's see here. Right, Zach. The first limit break, he gets more overflow, 180% overflow. Oh, there we go. He gets 180% overflow. He gets a heal. He also gets, this is neat, this is very good. He gets 60% max brave and 80% attack up. That's like really good for him. That means he's actually going to be able to do significant damage. And he starts up with his max brave up, HP regen, and he gets last stand. And he also gets a good HP++ variant, so after the Brave gain, he's gonna get a melee Brave attack into HP attack, which is more potent when he gets targeted. And finally, he gets a 4 hit plus 7 hit AoE magic on his final LB. And he also gets overflow on all his skills for 30%, which is pretty nice, except that for his sphere sucks. It's only 40% eye brave gain after he attacks someone that's targeting him. But after all these, Zach should be pretty decent as a damage dealer now, on top of being a tank. Well, he cannot deal with AoE HP damage still. And I'm not really sure how far his base skills are going to carry him. It's 8 and 6 uses, which is nice, and his recast is pretty fast. But yeah, I think he's going to be good, but might have longevity problems. I'm definitely going to max him. Like, he's getting maxed. Like, I have already his armor maxed, and I have basically perfect artifacts for him. So yeah, that's probably it. I'm pretty hyped for Zach. I think Ignis is good, but it's not like the end all be all pull and be good for life character. Alright, that's enough rambling for now.